Hi, it's Mike from the Cyber Guys, back with another quick tech talk. I'm continuing the series about the OWASP Top 10. As we talked about in the opening video, it is the common go-to tool for identifying website and web application weaknesses. Now we're up to number 2 on the top 10 list. And number 2 is cryptographic failures. Now, at first glance, that may seem like some hacker is breaking through unbreakable codes and is doing something really nifty. But that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. There are about 29 common weakness enumerations that are tied to this number 2, and they're mostly all connected with using old, out-of-date, weak cryptography, maybe even relying on hard-coded passwords or keys that are hidden in the clear in some way or another. Just like the number 1 risk is often associated with negligence and not necessarily using the best approach, it's the same thing with number 2. A perfect example of this is in wireless technology. Any cybersecurity professionals know that the early Wi-Fi encryption mechanism, WEP, is weak. It can lead to exposed passwords. It can be breached fairly easily. It's gotten to the point where breaking WEP passwords is something that we teach in cybersecurity and cyber hacking classes. So once you're using something that's so old that we're teaching people how to break it, then it's certainly something that has threats in the wild, and it wouldn't be really wise or prudent in any way, shape, or form to use this for your means of security. So believe it or not, it's actually the same way with cryptography. Over time, flaws, weaknesses, vulnerabilities, just bad practices that were used in the innovation of new crypto technology is revealed and eventually exploited. Some examples. Some crypto is susceptible to replay attacks. In other words, when the keys are passed, they're not passed with initialization vectors or salting that causes some randomness. Therefore, if you can just capture it, you don't need to actually decode it in order to use it and therefore break the security, because you have the key, because you're able to simply replay it because it's not being reset and reinitialized with different numerical values that just change what the code is. That's an example. In some cases, it's the hashing and using out-of-date hash mechanisms. There are a number of out-of-date technologies because it's always advancing. What was safe yesterday may not be safe tomorrow, and that's just what a threat agent out there is looking to take advantage of. So much so that number 2, all the way up the list, is cryptographic failures. So the question is, what do we do about it? How do we avoid the number 2 OWASP risk of cryptographic failures? Well, for one thing, don't just trust encrypting your data in transit, but make sure that you store your sensitive information that can lead to a cryptographic failure, as encrypted at rest as well, when it's on the storage medium. Very often, that's how the data in transit is breached. Also, make sure to use the latest strong crypto mechanisms. And there are a few other things to just keep in mind along that line. Make sure you're disabling caching. Make sure your protocols don't rely on clear text legacy mechanisms like FTP or SMTP. Make sure your initialization vectors are such that a replay attack would not be the case. And by using the latest best practices for crypto, that will generally be the case. Don't use your identity management to double as cryptographic keys. Ensure that you're using truly random and effective configuration, settings, and security keys. So that's number 2 on our OWASP Top 10. We're going to continue this series with number 3. But for now, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.